5, Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. There's just a lot of stuff going on around the National Football League, really in the last 90 minutes. But obviously a lot has transpired today, a lot of Jaguar-related stuff, guys that we thought might be linked to Jacksonville. That doesn't appear to be the case. It appears the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still not over the Liam Cohen situation. We have a Press Taylor sighting. More on that in a moment. So there's a lot of stuff to get into when it comes to the Jaguars. It is interesting that here we are, and again, I'm not pushing the panic button by any stretch of the imagination, but it's January 29th, right? The Senior Bowl is Saturday. The Combine is a month away. And NFL free agency, March 14th, roughly? So it's 44 days away from NFL free agency, roughly 6 weeks. And as of right now, the Jaguars have a head coach, which is important, obviously, in Liam Cohen. They have a special teams coordinator that they brought back in Heath Farwell. And that's it right now at the end of January. I would expect, and I told you this last night, I'm a little surprised it didn't happen today. I would expect tomorrow or Friday at the latest, they will announce a defensive coordinator hire. More on that in a moment as well. So a lot of Jaguar talk tonight. Guest lineup. Pretty excited. Coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes, Adam Rank of the NFL Network. I love talking Jaguar football with Adam Rank. He's like the utility infielder of the NFL Network. He does a lot of stuff on the fantasy football side. He'll pop up on Good Morning Football. He'll pop up in the evenings on NFL Network. And one of the things I like about Adam, and if you follow him on social media, you're probably aware of this, is he kind of fights the good fight for Jaguar fans, for the organization. He, along with Maurice Jones-Drew, but obviously MJD is a former Jaguar. Adam Rank has kind of embraced the Jaguars as one of the personalities on NFL Network, and he will join me coming up in about 15 or so minutes, and we will get his thoughts on Liam Cohen. Interesting thing about Adam is with his work with NFL Network, he also does a Chicago Bears podcast. And very recently, he's talked to a lot of the higher-ups in the Bears organization about the Ben Johnson situation up there, and he'll shed a little bit of light on that for us. So I think you'll enjoy that conversation with Adam Rank of the NFL Network about 15 minutes away. At the top of the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, as again, we will talk Liam Cohen, and we will talk about the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guest lineup is great. Happy to be with you here on a Wednesday. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do give you a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
As I mentioned at the top, there's a lot of stuff going on and a couple of things that I want to tell you my thoughts on. I'm curious your thoughts as well. Boy, about half an hour ago, I'm on social media and I come across breaking news out of Chicago. Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears hire Press Taylor as the new Bears passing game coordinator. And I said, do what now? So I went back and looked at it again. Sure enough, Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears hire Press Taylor as the Bears passing game coordinator. Look, nothing against Press Taylor, right? I think we're obligated to say that he's a good guy. I don't have anything personally against Press Taylor. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, he was a terrible offensive coordinator. He was bad in Philadelphia towards the end. He was bad here. Doug Peterson refused to get rid of him, and it cost Doug Peterson his job at 2 different locations. I am happy Press Taylor is no longer a coach on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the guy personally, fine. Professionally, I don't think he did a very good job. In fact, I think he did a poor job, and I'm happy he's not here. But when I see Ben Johnson hiring him as a passing game coordinator, I sit there and I think, all right, well, reverse the roles. If Ben Johnson would have taken the Jaguar job, as many of us wanted, let's not, do hindsight. Let's go back a week, or I guess 10 days. There is no doubt 10 days ago, many of us, quite frankly, including myself, probably had Ben Johnson number 1 on the list, right? And now you see him hire Press Taylor. First off, I just can't imagine how that would have flown here in Jacksonville. I don't think he would have been able to do that. But when you see Ben Johnson doing that in Chicago, does that, I don't know, maybe change your opinion a little bit on Ben Johnson? Maybe change your thought process a little bit on Ben Johnson? Heck, does it make you think maybe the Jaguars dodged a bullet with Ben Johnson? Press Taylor? Passing game coordinator? Hope that passing game is ready for a bunch of 3-yard bubble screens. A bunch of 2-yard button hooks. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Look, I think Ben Johnson's going to be a good coach. If he were here in Jacksonville, I would have been very happy about that. But I said when this whole process started, I had 3 guys that I had in, quote, tier 1, right? 3 guys that I would have been over the moon about if they landed in Jacksonville. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Liam Cohen. So from that and that alone, I'm over the moon. I'm ecstatic that Liam Cohen's here. And when I see Ben Johnson make a hire in Chicago like that of Press Taylor, yeah, I thought about that for a little bit and thought, that's an interesting hire there. Because Press Taylor was not good as an offensive play caller here in Jacksonville. I don't want him anywhere near the Jaguar organization. They can have fun with Press Taylor in Chicago. Other things that have transpired in the last, really, couple of hours. Word out of Las Vegas is that Patrick Graham appears to be nearing a deal to return to Las Vegas as the Raider defensive coordinator. Of course, Patrick Graham interviewed for the Jaguar head coaching job twice, and he also interviewed for the Jaguar defensive coordinator job. Graham did 3 interviews here in a 2.5-week stretch. 3 interviews. And it appears he's going to go to Las Vegas. Now, here's my question. Obviously, Shad Khan was interested because he interviewed Graham twice before Liam Cohen was even in the picture as the head coach. And then Liam Cohen comes in and interviews Graham for the DC job. But was Shad and the people here before Liam, were they higher on Graham than Liam Cohen was? It appears that way on the surface, right? Unless the Raiders just came back with a great offer for Patrick Graham, maybe Liam Cohen wanted to go in a different direction. Maybe Liam Cohen's running the show and he did not want Patrick Graham. And I know a lot of Jaguar fans are saying, well, Graham has experience and, we need a guy with experience. Well, all right, look at the Raider defense this year. I understand they had injuries, including Max Crosby, right? I get that, but they weren't very good. Statistically, the Raiders were not very good on defense. It's one thing to have experience. It's one thing to be a voice for a first-year head coach. I guess I can understand that. But with experience, you'd like it to be good experience. And Patrick Graham's Raider defense last year was not good. I don't think this is a loss for Jacksonville. Again, I'm curious what they do at defensive coordinator, and they need to do it pretty quick, right? Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you can't hire a defensive line coach or a linebackers coach or a secondary coach or any coach along the defense until you have your defensive coordinator in place. I firmly believe that will be the next hire. And with Patrick Graham taking his name presumably out of the running, that's the talk in Vegas tonight, that he's going back to the Raiders with Pete Carroll. The Jaguars have still done 3 other interviews for the DC job, and one would think one of those 3 guys is going to get it. And going to get it sooner rather than later. And I would turn your attention to, is it Aubrey Pleasant, I believe is his name, Coach Pleasant, who has a history with Liam Cohen. They crossed paths out in Los Angeles when they were both a member of Sean McVay's staff. You kind of connect the dots. Pleasant was the passing game defensive coach, the passing game defensive coordinator, if you will, in Carolina last year. Obviously, had spent that time with McVay in L.A. That's a name I would at least keep an eye on because he does have a history of sorts with Liam Cohen. And then finally, the last piece of news that came over the wire here in the last couple of hours, and you kind of get a chuckle out of this, but it's sort of standard procedure, I guess. Apparently, the Jaguars had put in a request to interview the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive line coach for the similar position here in Jacksonville. And the Buccaneers have denied that request. In the NFL, a coach cannot have the freedom to leave for a parallel job. Like the offensive line coach in Tampa cannot leave to be the offensive line coach in Jacksonville if they're under contract. Now, they can leave for a promotion. An offensive line coach in Tampa Bay can leave to be an offensive coordinator in Jacksonville. The Buccaneers can't stop a promotion, but the Buccaneers can stop a parallel move. And according to reports, Tampa Bay has informed their coaches that they are not going to allow them to talk to Jacksonville and Liam Cohen if it's for a parallel move. Translation, if those reports are true, some people in that Buccaneer organization are still very unhappy at the way things went down last week. And isn't that amazing? I was thinking about that today, too. It was last week, 7 days ago, that Trent Baalke was fired and that Liam Cohen took his name out of the running. It's only been 7 days. Keep in mind, last Thursday was when all the craziness happened with Cohen. And did he fly to Jacksonville without Tampa Bay's knowledge, the secret meetings, all that stuff? Hasn't even been a full week yet. It'll be a week tomorrow. Wild. Feels like a lot longer than a week, right? So maybe we shouldn't panic about the coaching staff not coming together yet. Although Ben Johnson took the Chicago job 4 days, roughly, before Liam Cohen took the Jaguar job. And Ben Johnson's already got his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, his special teams coordinator, his passing game coordinator tonight, right, with Press Taylor. So, again, if you go on that same timeline, one would think that Liam Cohen's staff will start getting filled, I would say, maybe tomorrow, Friday at the latest. I can't imagine you don't have a defensive coordinator announced in the next 24 to 48 hours. Can't imagine it. More on the Jaguars. In fact, it's going to be all Jaguars for over the next hour here on Hacker After Dark. Leon Searcy joins me at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Coming up next, my buddy Adam Rank of the NFL Network. You see him all over NFL Network on the fantasy football side of things, a little bit on Good Morning Football. He's kind of like their utility infielder. And he fights the good fight for the Jaguars, man, from a national perspective. That's why I like having Adam on. We'll get his thoughts on Liam Cohen. Adam does work with the Chicago Bears as well. I'll ask him about Ben Johnson and how that whole situation came together. Jaguar talk, coaching carousel talk, a little Ben Johnson talk. Adam Rank of the NFL Network joins me next on a Wednesday evening in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
place is great.
Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When can we move in?
This is 1010XL.
Instead of wasting money on resolutions you won't keep, why not invest in something that lasts? Like fixing that dripping faucet, clearing that clogged drain, or finally tuning up your AC. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. We'll help you keep your home in shape this year. It's the one resolution you won't regret breaking. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule service today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Searcy. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Searcy can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Searcy?
Just send them a text.
Text CORE to 200-300 to get started today with Searcy. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text CORE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text CORE to 200-300. That's CORE to 200-300. CORE to 200-300.
Hey, Aiken here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX, J-A-X, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, man. Run your game.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
Mike Dempsey here. All right, we're almost a month into the new year. How's that resolution to drop your first 20 to 25 pounds going? Didn't happen? Yeah, well, that's probably because you didn't call Awaken 180 weight loss. I did, and in just 4 weeks, I dropped 23 pounds and was at my goal. But here's the crazy part. It didn't stop there. It was so easy. I kept going. Did it another week. Next thing I know, I'm down 27 pounds. That's right, 27. You know what's wild? I can still see my abs again. I'm not ripped. I don't have a six-pack, but I didn't even think I had those anymore before Awaken 180. It's amazing when you see the results. Feel the results. You just want to keep pushing forward. That's what makes Awaken 180 so different. It's not some medication quick fix where the weight comes off and comes back. It's real results that you can see and feel. Fast results and lasting results. Results that make you want to keep going. To reach a goal you never thought possible. Want the same for you? Then do it. Call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss, 844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com today.
The Electric Light Orchestra Experience featuring Evil Woman, the American ELO, a concert celebration featuring the music of Electric Light Orchestra. It's February 5th at Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Happy New Year, sports fans. Hicken here, and let's keep the skincare talk going while we ring in the new year. You know it's winter, a little cold outside. That sun is still shining, so let's always be reminded to take care of our skin. Beaches Dermatology now has a new location open in Fernandina. So if you live just a little north of Duval, you can now see the pros at Beaches Dermatology without having to make the drive to Jax. Go online to beachesdermatology.com to book your skincare appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom. You'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach here in Jacksonville, was introduced earlier this week. Boy, what a situation it was to get Liam Cohen to town. Certainly it wasn't the cleanest of coaching searches, but it does appear that people here are very happy about what Liam Cohen's going to bring to this organization. What about from a national perspective? Not only Cohen, but the rest of the NFL coaching carousel, how it all shook out. Adam Rank does a terrific job covering the NFL with NFL Network. He's also the host of the Sick podcast, and Adam is kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Adam, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's always great to be down in Duval. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upstage your coach right there by doing it correctly. But listen, he's going to get a lot of opportunity to learn. So I think you'll be okay.
Well, let's first and foremost just dive right in. Liam Cohen, your thoughts on the hire, your thoughts on how he will do here in Jacksonville.
You know, I thought he was one of the bright young candidates to come through, even though he's had a number of stops along the way. Still one of the more well-respected minds in football. Did a great job this season with Baker Mayfield. And I think that was a big thing, too. I know that, Dave Canales gets a lot of credit for what he did with, Geno Smith in Seattle and going down to Tampa Bay and getting Baker going again. But still, it's not easy to keep that momentum. We saw, Geno kind of regressed a little bit when Dave left. And Baker played maybe better this season. So I think as far as finding the right coordinator to go with your quarterback and trying to really get the most out of Trevor Lawrence, I think outside of Ben Johnson, this would have been the best offensive mind to go out there and get. And I think Jacksonville got a good one.
I agree, and that's why it's puzzling to me, and it's quite frankly puzzling to a lot of people here, Adam. 7 NFL head coaching openings, yet Liam Cohen, to my knowledge, only interviewed here, and obviously he ultimately got the job, but does it surprise you that he was not more in demand in other locations?
Well, I think when you look around the landscape of what was happening through the coaching carousel, the Bears were always in on Ben Johnson, and it, is more, for those who are not aware of who I am, I do a Chicago Bears podcast, and I was able to talk to Rick Smith, who is the agent for Ben Johnson. And now that we're able to peel back the layers and kind of what really happened type of thing, it felt like Ben Johnson was always going to be the Bears coach. That's the only job he wanted. That was the only job he was really going to be considered for. So it's not shocking that of all of the Bears did, interview 20 guys, and Liam Cohen wasn't one of them, but still, you knew they were going Ben Johnson. The Patriots were going to go with Mike Vrabel, so that wasn't a shock. I think the Raiders wanted somebody a little bit more established. I think Ben Johnson was their pipe dream, but if not, they pivoted really quickly to a guy like Pete Carroll. So I sort of understand it, when you're kind of looking around, although Dallas doesn't make sense to me. But I think Dallas, I think they got caught up in Mike McCarthy. He's got to come back. There's no way. And they really hired the same way that they hired Jason Garrett. So that wasn't much of a shock to me. New Orleans kind of shocked me, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If you like the guy and you think that he is the person for you, that I think that, it's worthwhile to go after him. And it's puzzling right now from this perspective to be hey, why didn't people want to hang out with him? But at the same time, I think he's a good one. I think Tampa Bay, putting up the fight that they did shows what they thought of him. So ultimately, I think that's what matters.
Adam Rank of NFL Network here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Adam, as you mentioned, the process to get Liam Cohen here wasn't exactly the cleanest coaching procedure that we've seen in the NFL. The Trent Baalke thing was weird. Obviously, it was a week ago today, as a matter of fact, last Wednesday, that Liam Cohen took his name out of the running. Boy, how much things can change in 7 days. And then Baalke is fired 4 hours later. And then Liam Cohen obviously has a change of heart. Quickly, you mentioned your connection with Chicago and Ben Johnson. Do you believe Trent Baalke's presence here in Jacksonville completely and totally affected their chances of getting Ben Johnson?
No, I really believe that Ben Johnson wanted to be in Chicago. And I think a lot was made of the fact that, hey, he wants to choose his own GM. The Raiders even brought in a guy, the Raiders were interviewing people that they thought had a connection with Ben Johnson. People were scrambling like, hey, who did Ben Johnson go to high school with? Like, let's hire him to be the GM. That was never the case. Ben Johnson was never going to go out there and he was never going to demand anybody was going to be fired as the general manager. I think the biggest thing for Ben Johnson, when you look at it now, he came out and he said, these are the parameters I want to make sure that I go out there and accept the job. And it was a very direct message to the Chicago Bears of like, I want Ryan Poles to be able to make the football decisions. We don't want Kevin Warren and other people and George McCaskey interfering in the football operations. That was what that ended up being. And I think a lot of people at the time took that to mean Ryan Poles needs to be fired. And Bears fans, being who they are, being like, well, then let's fire Ryan Poles. We got to get rid of this guy. But that was never the case. And just to I don't know why. I don't think it's a shot against Jacksonville or anything like that, but I think he just wanted to be in Chicago. He knows the division. He knows the teams. He knows the Bears personnel because he's been coaching against them for years. And sometimes, you know what, you just have your heart set on something. It's just the way it goes. When I was buying a car, I wanted an Acura, and sorry if I'm ruining any sponsorship deals, but and it's
good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like that's a nice car. Like that brand is great. I have my heart set on this one, and that's the way it was going to be. And I think for Jacksonville, it's a very attractive job. And I feel like, anybody would want to go there. We love the Khan family. I watch AEW. I pull for Emile Smith-Rowe for Fulham, even though I'm an Arsenal supporter. Love everything that they've done. Love the fans down there. Love Trevor Lawrence, too. I think Trevor Lawrence gets way too much disrespect. And Brian Thomas Jr. is there. Like, there's a lot to be excited about in Jacksonville. So as much as I thought Ben Johnson could have been a good fit there, that was, like, personally, as somebody who's, watches the Bears, like, I was worried about Jackson. I was never worried about the Raiders. I was never worried about anybody else. So I'm like, that's a pretty good job. That's pretty nice. Like, Jacksonville, great city. If you love golf, you're going to go play TPC Sawgrass. Like, okay, like, there's a lot of things going on that are great for Jacksonville. But, he just wanted to be in Chicago, and I think that was it. And I think, too, the Bears, the Jags must have known this as well, which is why they probably, this is my conjecture, I don't know this for 100% fact, they probably realized, too, like, okay, well, Ben Johnson's going to Chicago, because it feels like when you're in those circles, if you're in the inner circle, you kind of know how these things are going to go. And the Raiders had made a last-second push. But I think Jacksonville probably knew, and they probably felt like, well, we like Trent, we'll keep him. And they really got stuck on Liam Cohen, and I think that he didn't really work well with Trent Baalke. And at some point, you got to figure out, like, what's the most important thing for our franchise? Like who's the most important person in this whole process? And for me, it's Trevor Lawrence. And if this is the coach that we want to pair with Trevor Lawrence, then we got to be able to make sure that we do whatever we do. And unfortunately for Trent Baalke, he was shown the door. But I think that, things work out for a reason. And I think that this is going to end up being a great hire for the Jags. So I'm not really I know that Ben Johnson was the prize, the number one person, but still, this is pretty good, too.
A couple of more for Adam Rank of the NFL Network, and that's why we love having Adam on. You fight the good fight for the Jaguars on the NFL Network set, and we certainly appreciate that here in Jacksonville. Adam, Liam Cohen, 1 year as a play caller in Tampa Bay, right? Very good year, as you mentioned, with Baker Mayfield. But he's really going to be given the keys to the kingdom here, right? I mean, he's putting together his staff. He's going to certainly have a say in the general manager. That's a lot to put on a 39-year-old, 1 year play caller in the NFL's plate, is it not?
I mean, it is. But, we've seen it be successful in other organizations, too. The Rams, the 49ers have been able to do it. Obviously, Kevin O'Connell, he's got a good support system in Minnesota, too. But like Kevin O'Connell, like that's kind of the way it goes now. We allow these young coaches the opportunity to go out there and build their staff and do it their way. And you want to make sure that he's going to be the ability to be as successful as possible. And I know that the thing about the Jags, and I understand it's going to be the most frustrating for the fans, is that, they're trying everything. They brought in the money for Urban Meyer, which I thought was kind of fun. I'm like, this could work. That didn't work out. And I personally thought that I thought there would be no way Doug Peterson could miss. I'm like, yeah, Doug Peters, that's perfect. Super Bowl winning coach. This makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So I credit the Khan family for going out there and be like, dude, we're doing everything we can. Like, you cannot accuse this family of not doing everything it takes to be a successful NFL team. And so for them, they're like, okay, well, let's try it this way. This is a formula that's been good with other stops along the way. And you got to go out and nail it and let him go out there and do his thing. And I think it could be good. The one thing I would hope, and forgive me, I haven't seen if he's hired a defensive coordinator yet. So forgive me if I missed it.
As of right now, he is not. That's correct.
Okay. So my only thing, and if I was Shad or Tony or somebody, and I'll be like, this is the one thing that I don't want to tell you what to do. But this is the one thing I would be a little insistent on is finding a defensive coordinator who has head coaching experience, somebody who's called a timeout in the NFL before. Matt Eberflus actually would have been really good for this, but he's going to Dallas, and so that's fine. But like how the Bears brought in Dennis Allen, the Cowboys are going to go with Matt Eberflus. Again, regardless of what you thought of him as a head coach, he's got that experience, understands what's going on. And when you look at the Rams, one of the reasons that made the Rams so successful initially was the fact that they had Wade Phillips in there. And Wade Phillips, was a great stabilizing force for Sean McVay, almost to the point call up Wade Phillips. I know he's in his 70s, but listen, these 70-year-olds are going out there and getting jobs all over the place now. Why not take a look at him? But that would be my one thing that I would hope that he brings in or his offensive coordinator was a former head coach, something like that. You want somebody on that staff who is a former head coach, not somebody who's going to compete with him, not somebody who's using this as a jumping point to get back into the NFL head coaching ranks, but somebody who's going to be, a good at his job and going to give you a wealth of experience. And so we'll see how that unfolds. I think it's going to be good, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. As you said, I do have a soft spot for Jacksonville. I root for you guys. I'm pulling for you guys. I hope this is the dude. You know what? I think that, and I would implore anybody, and I tell this to Bears fans too, is always have hope. There's no reason to trade in negativity. There's a lot of reasons to believe that this is going to work. Liam Cohen's been very successful every spot he's been. Trevor Lawrence, one of the most disrespected 4,000-yard passers out there. You got your guys getting healthy. It's going to be a good year, and I think next season Jacksonville is going to be competing for a playoff spot. I truly believe that.
And that is the message here. This is not exactly a rebuild with the likes of Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Joshua Hines-Allen. They just need somebody to bring it all together, and the hope is that Liam Cohen is that man. Adam Rank of the NFL Network and the Sick Podcast. Adam, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville where and when they can find you on NFL Network and about the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm on every Friday night on the NFL Insiders. I'm out there. It's not just fantasy football. It's actually talking ball. And, of course, NFL Fantasy Live. We'll have some specials coming up over the next couple of weeks as we get through free agency and draft season and all that stuff before the season kicks off in earnest in August. And then I'll be bumping around. They'll throw me in. I'll be on GMFB. I'll do whatever. I'll pop up when you least expect it. I'm kind of like Sting. Well, Sting's retired, but Sting would show up periodically on AEW Dynamite. And he'd be like, hey, it's Sting's here tonight. So I'm kind of that. I just compared myself to Sting. I did. So we do that. And, of course, the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. Listen, I know you guys aren't Bears fans, and I appreciate that. And you don't need to be. If you could just subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast. You don't have to listen to it. Just subscribe. Maybe check it out once in a while. I think you'll enjoy it.
Adam, I know you're busy. Really enjoyed the time, buddy. Thank you as always.
No, thank you. The pleasure was all on this side of the phone, and let's do it again soon.
The NBA is on 1010XL.
The Orlando Magic head to Portland for an evening matchup against the Trailblazers. Tomorrow night at 9:30 on 1010 a.m.
Blue here for the blue. Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2025 with peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Cancer Center with on-site imaging, including whole body MRI, PET and CT scans, and mammography. Early detection is key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Ammon, you're always talking about how clean air is healthy air. I've had this cold for weeks. Can cleaning my air ducts actually help?
Well, Dad, I'm not a doctor, and let's be honest, you probably caught that cold from one of your grandkids. But I can tell you this, the cleaner your air, the better you'll feel.
Makes sense, but what do air ducts have to do with it?
Your ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're full of dust, allergens, and who knows what else, all that junk gets blown into the air you breathe, especially now that the heat's running. And the EPA says improving indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So you're telling me my vents are working harder than my immune system?
Exactly. That's why Zero Res is here. We're NADCA certified, and our truck mount system is the most powerful in the industry. Right now, we're even offering $100 off your total for January.
All right, sign me up. If it makes me feel better and keeps your mom off my back, I'm all in.
Good call, Dad.
Zero Res.
Spelled border backwards.
It's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res. Is your dog Team Rough or Team Fluff? It's officially Puppy Bowl season at Dogtopia Jacksonville Beach Boulevard. They're getting MVPs, Most Valuable Pups, ready for the big game. Your dog deserves a tail-wagging day of fun, and Dogtopia's indoor playrooms are the perfect training ground for their game day moment. Get your dog in on all the action by visiting Dogtopia Jacksonville, Beach Boulevard, and St. John's Bluff. New to the pack? Enjoy a free day of daycare. Mention Puppy Bowl when booking to claim the offer.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us till 10 o'clock tonight. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coming up at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time. We get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark as we'll talk about one of the craziest 7-day periods that we've had following the Jacksonville Jaguars, perhaps in franchise history. It was 7 days ago that I talked with Leon in our weekly chat, and at that point, Trent Baalke was still the general manager at the time of our conversation. William Cohen had said thanks but no thanks to the Jaguars, and to think about everything that has changed, 180-degree difference in the last 7 days. I just thought about this literally in the last 5 minutes, and I just put it on Twitter, and we'll probably elaborate more on it tomorrow. I kind of want to get a pulse of the fan base. Trent Baalke, Urban Meyer, right? You go, yuck. Trent Baalke or Urban Meyer. I just want to know from you, the Jaguar fans, the hardworking men and women of Northeast Florida, at this day and time, on January the, 29th, right? 8:43 Eastern Standard Time in the evening. Who do you look at worse from their time here in Jacksonville? Do you look at Trent Baalke worse? Or do you look at Urban Meyer worse? And I'm conjuring up a thought, a topic there, but again, it just hit me 5 minutes ago. So this might be more of a Thursday night conversation, but I'll get the pulse tonight. Again, I put it on Twitter 2 minutes ago. I got 50 votes. Denmark, have you seen the results yet? Don't look if you haven't.
Yes, I voted.
Okay, you did vote. Okay, thanks.
I was the 9th person to vote.
Denmark supporting the cause, man. That means a lot. Thank you. 55 votes now as we're refreshing this in real time. Trent Baalke, 60%. Urban Meyer, 40%. So go vote at Ryan Green 1010XL, and you say, Ryan Green, yes, there is a world where my name is Ryan Green, although I'm Hacker on Hacker After Dark. But I did not want to put at Hacker because people might not know what that means on social media, and Twitter might not know what that means. It's not a very friendly word on the World Wide Web, if you will. So go to at Ryan Green 1010XL on social media and give me your thoughts. Who do you look at worse as a Jaguar fan? Trent Baalke or Urban Meyer? All right, Patrick Graham. Interviewed in Jacksonville 3 times, twice for the head coach position, once for the defensive coordinator position. It appears now he is going to return to Las Vegas to the role he was in already as Raider defensive coordinator with Antonio Pierce. He will return as Raider defensive coordinator now for head coach Pete Carroll. And some Jaguar fans are looking at that as a fail, which I think that's very harsh. Some are looking at that as a disappointment. Others don't really care. Others don't believe he was going to be the DC anyway, so what difference does it make? It's one of those 4 camps. I would side in the latter 2. Not that I necessarily don't care, but I didn't think he was going to be the DC anyway after some of the things that I had heard. But for those of you that are upset that Patrick Graham is going back to Las Vegas, let me ask you an honest question. Shoot me straight here, all right? You and I have a lot of good conversations back and forth through this radio. Shoot me straight. 2 weeks ago, how many of you actually knew who Patrick Graham was? I'm willing to bet not all of you that wanted Patrick Graham as the DC. I think that is a trendy name that you've heard. Once you did some research, you found out he's interviewed for some head coaching jobs, particularly with Minnesota. The year they hired Kevin O'Connell, he was one of the finalists, right? I read that too. You saw that he interviewed twice here for the head coach job, once for the D coordinator. So you say, yeah, I'm going to latch on to Patrick Graham. How many of you can actually tell me anything Patrick Graham does schematically for a defense? How many of you can tell me what the Raiders ranked defensively last year under Patrick Graham? And I'm not throwing stones in a glass house. I can't tell you much of this either. If I just looked up their rankings from last year, literally in the last 10 minutes, they were middle of the pack. I think they were 15th in pass defense. I think they were 13th in rush defense. Better than Jacksonville, certainly. But they weren't top 10 in either ranking. And the reason I bring this up is I don't want to relive Groundhog Day. I've had enough of that here in Jacksonville. And for those of you that are somewhat upset that Patrick Graham is going back to Las Vegas, rewind the clock back 1 year. Man, Ryan Nielsen. Let's go get that guy. Who is Ryan Nielsen? I had no idea who Ryan Nielsen was. I'll be honest with you. I think I heard in passing he was the Falcon defensive coordinator 2 or 3 days before I knew they were going to interview him. Did I know Ryan Nielsen's scheme? Did I know what Ryan Nielsen was going to bring to the table here in Jacksonville? Of course not. I would be lying to you if I said I did. But he was the hot, trendy name. The NFL insiders were telling me what a great hire he was. And you're going to be so happy with Ryan Nielsen, right? Okay, great. So we got Ryan Nielsen. Terrific. He comes in with a fantastic mustache. I bonded with him over his story from being at Walt Disney World when he got the call from Doug Peterson. I'm like, I like this guy. This is the guy, Ryan Nielsen, the guy everybody told us we needed to get. Right on, man. Great. It didn't take very long into the year until you figured out the Jaguar defense was terrible. It didn't take very long into the year until you thought, why are they doing hockey line changes? Why is Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker both off the field at the same time? Why on the opening snap of defense is Tyler Lacey and Jeremiah Ledbetter out there and not Eric Armstead or Devon Hamilton? It did not take a long time to realize all that talk we got about Ryan Nielsen was fluff. So here we are again a year later, and some of us are falling into the same trap. These same NFL insiders are telling us how great Patrick Graham would be. Well, you know what? I hear you. I appreciate your opinion. I'm going to pass. I'm going to believe in Liam Cohen. And it's my opinion that Liam Cohen at this point probably wanted to go in a different direction than Patrick Graham, and I think that's the direction you're going to hear announced in the next day or two. I don't know that for 100% certainty. That's my opinion. Liam Cohen provides different views from what this organization has had for the last 12 or 13 years. Different opinions. And I'm all for that. Because anything different here in Jacksonville, sign me up for, brother. Because what we have had for the last 12 or 13 years has not worked. Let's introduce some different into our lives. Last year, we took the hot, trendy coordinator that everybody told us we needed, and it sucked. So here we are 12 months later. Patrick Graham, I wish you the best out in Las Vegas. Have nothing against you personally. Don't need it. Want something different. And Liam Cohen provides the Jaguars with that different view. By the way, I did this earlier on my Awaken 180 number of the week that I do every week on the 1010XL social media platforms. You know why people are so excited about Liam Cohen? You know why I'm excited about Liam Cohen? You look at the last three offensive minds off the Sean McVay coaching tree in L.A. Offensive minds. That would be Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. That would be Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. And that would be Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Those three guys, LaFleur, O'Connell, Taylor, have combined for 147 regular season wins in 15 combined seasons for the three. 147 wins for the last three guys off the McVay coaching tree on the offensive side of the ball before Liam Cohen. Compare those three's 147 wins in 15 seasons to the Jaguars' 64 wins in the last 13 seasons. Again, something different. That is a trend, right? Zach Taylor, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, coached in L.A. under Sean McVay on the offensive side of the ball. They have all been either good, great, or fantastic with their teams. Zach Taylor, great/good. Super Bowl, right? Made it, but has had a couple of bad years, so I'll give him great/good. Matt LaFleur has been great/phenomenal. And you could argue Kevin O'Connell's probably been phenomenal, right? In 3 years in Minneapolis with what he's done. Lacking postseason success, but in the regular season, he's been phenomenal. Let's hope Liam Cohen follows that trend. Because if he does, we're going to all be very happy. Very, very happy. And I believe he will follow that trend. Hopefully as good as those three. That'd be hard to live up to. But hopefully he can be there and he can get to that point. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go, Jacksonville. We will take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. I do want to update you. Both UNF and JU playing right now. A couple of games coming down to the wire. My alma mater, the Ospreys of UNF, up 85-81 on Stetson. 1 minute to go in that ball game. JU was up 19 at halftime over Florida Gulf Coast. These are two of the best teams in the A-Sun. JU is 7-1 in conference. First place right now in the conference. They lead Florida Gulf Coast now by 7. Florida Gulf Coast has made a game of it, but JU still up 7 with about 2 minutes to go. We will keep you updated on both the local schools. The Florida Gators do not play until Saturday against Tennessee. They have a week off or a work week off. They're back on the court Saturday. And I heard Ballou talking about Florida State in Florida State's game against Virginia Tech. Now, the Seminoles coming off a tough trip to California. You love those ACC trips to California, right? Well, the Seminoles back in Tallahassee, and it is not going well for them. Virginia Tech's going to beat them. The Hokies up 14 with about 2 minutes to go. Coming up next, back into the Jacksonville Jaguars, back into the National Football League. My buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jaguars. You hear him every day on Prime Time. We get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Let's talk Liam Cohen. Let's talk Jaguar future. Let's talk the future of the Jaguar offensive line. That was one of the key topics that Liam Cohen talked about on Monday. This Jaguar O-line, something that needs to get better. Let's talk with one of the best offensive linemen in franchise history. Does he agree? That's next. Hacker After Dark on a Wednesday. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
I'm the voice of the Gators, Sean Kelly, on the home of the Gators, 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I was looking at photos earlier this week of myself from last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, heck, 4 years ago. Awful, man. Just awful. I was in a bad place. There's no doubt about that. I was in a bad place. Over 300 pounds, heck, almost 320 pounds. Had to do something because things were not going well. So I heard about Awaken 180. Went to awaken180weightloss.com. Learned about him, talked to him, got involved, started the program. And in the first month, I lost 19 pounds. 19 pounds in a month. And now here we are, 10 and a half months later, I'm down 110 pounds overall. Awaken180weightloss.com, guys. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, Take it from somebody that's lost triple digits with these people and go to Awaken 180 weight loss.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Cannonball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Yo, E.T. here, and don't let Valentine's Day sneak up on you. Plan the perfect romantic getaway in Clay County. Stay at one of Clay's beautiful Airbnbs or in luxury at Club Continental, a boutique riverfront retreat, and treat your special someone to an unforgettable dinner at the Hilltop Restaurant. Trust me on this one. Clay County is the perfect spot for romance. Start planning today at exploreclay.com and tag those romantic moments with hashtag ExploreClay.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's now about filling out the coaching staff, getting a general manager, and as we talked about, I mean, heck, it's Senior Bowl week. We're a month away from the Combine, and we're 6 weeks away from free agency. It's going to get here pretty quick. The Jaguars have a lot of decisions to make and not a lot of time to do it. Let's talk about all of it with Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every day on prime time, and we're lucky enough to have him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how are you, pal?
What up, bro?
Amazing what can transpire in 7 days. You and I spoke last Wednesday, and at that point, at our conversation anyway, Trent Baalke was still the general manager. Liam Cohen had taken his name out of the running to be the Jaguar head coach, and no one really knew anything about what was going on. And now here we are just 7 days later, and everything has changed. What a week it's been for the organization.
Oh, well, yeah, it has been. I mean, it's amazing what we talked about this last week about Trent Baalke was still here, Liam Cohen, pulling his name, and then him reasserting his name. And, yeah, bro, it's been a whirlwind over the last, 7 days. But ultimately, I think, as the fans would say, I mean, Trent is gone, and we got a brand new head coach.
Let's rewind the clock back 7 days ago. Let's begin with Trent Baalke. What was your initial reaction to the news that he had been fired?
Well, I mean, listen, I've been a coach before, and I was never a GM, and I've been fired. So it's not one thing that you wish upon anybody, but in this particular case, because of his record and his dismantling of the roster and bad choices and bad picks, I was elated. I was. Unfortunately, I have to admit that I was very elated because I felt that Trent Baalke, along with Doug Peterson, because of what they had done over the last year and a half with this team, both deserved to be given their eviction notice or eviction papers. So, yeah, I was ecstatic about the fact that the Jaguars were moving on for Trent Baalke. I didn't think Shad had it in him, to be quite honest with you, but he proved me wrong, and I'm happy for that.
Former Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy. It was interesting. He keeps Baalke through everything, keeps him through the Peterson firing 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And then it almost as if Leon, and again, we'll never know this or in its entirety, but the Ben Johnson situation in Chicago, and when Liam Cohen took his name out of the running last Wednesday morning and Baalke was let go like 4 hours later, that had to be the final straw, it seemed. The water went over the dam at that point, I think, for Baalke.
Yeah, I mean, I had mentioned this, when it happened initially, that billionaires, and we don't know, we're all speculating. That's why we're on Sports Talk Radio. We're speculating. We don't know exactly what happened. But I'm under the impression that billionaires don't like to be embarrassed. You got to remember, Liam Cohen had one interview. There was no one else interviewing him in the NFL. he had the one interview with the Jaguars, and he decided to pull his name. He was a Jaguars guy when Trent Baalke was there initially. And this one guy who had the one interview pulled his name from the Jaguars and didn't want to go anywhere else and went back to Tampa Bay. I think that Shad Khan saw the writing on the wall and said, hey, listen, no, this job is not as attractive as we thought with Trent here. So maybe I've got to make the decision, for the betterment of the organization and let this guy go and get us a head coach in here. And I think that's what happened.
It does land on Liam Cohen. Before we talk about him, I'm just curious, Leon, your thoughts on all the things that were reported last week, from the secret interview here in Jacksonville to did Liam be completely truthful with Tampa Bay? Buccaneer fans are still very upset. Buccaneer media a week later is still very upset. I mean, what did you make of all that?
The hell with them. The hell with them. They're sour grapes. It's apparent that they had to like the guy if they're going through all this trouble about him leaving. So that's a good thing for us. I mean, listen, I heard Rick Ballou talk about it on his show. Embrace the villain, bro. Mm-hmm. Embrace it. I mean, you ain't got to always be Batman. Sometimes it's good to be the Joker. And we got our guy. So if Tampa Bay's up in arms about it, get over it. And if Liam Cohen proves to be what we think he is, as much as Tampa Bay wanted him, I mean, then we the sky's the limits for this Jaguar organization.
No, I completely agree. That's a Tampa Bay problem. That's not a Jacksonville problem. You did bring something up that I certainly took notice of. There were 7 head coaching openings this cycle. To my knowledge, Liam Cohen only interviewed here. Is that a red flag for you?
It's a little concerning, Hat. Yeah, it was. What's a little bit even more concerning to me is, and I don't think anybody's really addressed it. They brought it to the attention, but I mean, this guy's been in 5 different places in 5 years. I mean, his stability is in question. His stability, his accountability, that's in question to me. But I mean, 1 year here, 1 year there, 1 year back here. Well, I mean, that's a little concerning. And he's only been in Tampa 1 year. So, when he signed a 5-year deal here in Jacksonville. So, I mean, his stability is a little bit in question for me, and his youth. I mean, only his youth because I'll be very interested to see who he hires, who he's connected with, because he's been in and out the NFL. I mean, the NFL is about building those relationships with people. So I just don't want it to be the case where he goes into this coaching hiring situation where he's getting his homeboy or people that he's familiar with. I really want him to bring in people that are qualified and been in the coaching game for a minute and know how to build and develop players and hold them accountable.
Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Liam Cohen was introduced on Monday at that press conference. I know nationally he's kind of getting the business a little bit for the whole Duval thing, but I mean, whatever. What did you make of the press conference in its entirety? What did you make of what he had to say?
Well, let me just go ahead and get rid of the Duval. You got when you do the Duval, it's got to come from the diaphragm. You got to put a little bass into it. He said Duval like it was a musical, so he's got to work on that for one. The first thing that he said that I love that he said that that this is the NFL it's about the players. He said we want to make it about the players and putting the players in the best situations to where they can make plays. I love that about him because it is. It's about the players. I know everybody talks about schematically, about formations and this and that and confusing people. It's still about the players. And it's about finding the right players, developing the players, and then putting the players in the best situations to where they can make plays. I loved when he said that. It's absolutely right. Second thing he said that may have brought a tear to my eye when he said, I'm going to get the offensive line right. Mm-hmm. We're going to get a coach in here that's going to get the offensive line right because it starts up front. It starts up front about building a culture of guys being tough, being physical, and being accountable. I love that. When he said that we're going to find an offensive line coach to come in here and we're going to rectify the offensive line and make sure it's its finest. Oh, my God, Hack. Man, that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear from your head coach. Understanding the game. Understanding that this game is built from the inside out, your offensive, defensive lines. And if those are in place and you got physical and tough and resilient guys up front on the offensive defensive line, it makes your job so much easier. So I love that about him. I love that in the presser that he said those two things. And right now, Hack, I'm all on board the Liam train, all right? It's called off-season optimism. So I'm going to ride this train for 6 months. And then I'll see once he goes through the OTA, once he goes through the free agency, the combine, and the draft, and all the other stuff that goes on, and we get into the preseason and all that kind of stuff, what really matters is what this team looks like in September.
No, it's a good point. And back to the offensive line, I thought what was cool, too, is he said, look, when the offense breaks the huddle, the first thing the defense sees is that O-line. And essentially, he said, we want them to take notice of the O-line. I'm not exactly sure they have taken notice of the O-line here in Jacksonville. But it's weird, Leon, because you look at the offensive line, man, there's a lot of contracts there. Walker Little just got his deal. Ezra Cleveland got his deal last year. Anton Harrison, probably one of the best offensive linemen, is on his rookie deal. I guess you can get out of Sheriff's contract. I would be surprised if he's back. Mitch Morse has another year on his. So if you're going to bring in new guys or address the offensive line, you're going to have to figure out some salary issues there with some of those contracts.
Yeah, well, it was very interesting when he said that. I referenced back to Tampa Bay and looked at their offensive line, and I looked at the starting five. So he's going to, in my assessment of what he's saying, that offensive line is going to be, in my opinion, is going to have to be young. So it might be some changes made interiorly, because I looked at the Tampa Bay offensive line. The oldest guy on the offensive line is Tristan Wirth.
Wow.
He's in the league. He's been in the league 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of those guys were draft pick guys that they developed on their own, from the left tackle to the right tackle. And Tristan Wirth, if you can get one of those guys, you're talking about a guy who's an all-pro at left and right tackle. So we don't have one of those. But I'm just saying, all those guys that he's referenced to are young guys. So that said to me that he's going to try to get, in my opinion, he's going to try to get this offensive line young and physical. He's going to want to develop them, rock them like babies. So I'm my opinion that the Ezra Clevelands and the Mitch Morrises and the Brandon Sheriffs may hit the door. I don't know how that's going to work as far as contract-wise go. But if there's anything reference to the offensive line that he had in Tampa Bay, I think he may want to start building this offensive line by being young.
Final moments with Leon Searcy. Leon, we saw a lot of players at the press conference. Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence, Foye Oluokun, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Tank Bigsby. A lot of guys were there to support their new head coach. From a playing standpoint, what is the procedure now? I mean, do guys come in and meet Liam Cohen? Do they get on the phone with him, especially the guys that aren't here in Jacksonville? I would have to think you'd have to build some sort of rapport with him prior to off-season conditioning beginning in April.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're a starter, first and foremost, here's what I want Liam Cohen to do. I want him to make everybody there uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, because I mean you're coming off a 4-13 season. It hasn't been unicorns and rainbows here in Jacksonville. So that's what I want, uncomfortable. Secondly, if you're on the fence and you're out of town on vacation, you better get your butt back to Jacksonville as because he's watching the film. I mean, if you're on the fence of whether you're going to be on the team or you're going to be off the team, whatever you're doing, you need to fly back to Jacksonville and meet the new head coach. I mean, if you're a starter, you can give yourself a little time. But if you're on the fence, you need to meet this guy, because I'm sure that him and his coaching staff is going to thoroughly watch the film of every game from last year. So there's no reason for anybody on this roster to feel comfortable with their status outside of maybe a few guys, Tyson Campbell, Josh Allen, and maybe Trevor Lawrence. Everybody else is on the fence, in my opinion.
Leon, final question, and we'll talk more about the game certainly next week. You played 11 years in the NFL. You never experienced a losing season, which is absolutely wild. In the seasons that you played. 2000, the Jaguars did, but you were injured the entire year. Kansas City is going to their 5th Super Bowl in 6 years. You never experienced a losing season, and yet you only made it to 1 Super Bowl. That's how tough it is to get there. Can you put into words what Kansas City has accomplished over the last 6 seasons?
Ridiculous, and they must be stopped. I mean, for real, Hack, what they're doing, I mean, you're talking about a team that's made it to 7 straight AFC championship games, bro. 7 in a row, which is ridiculous. I mean, listen, they're playing like they're playing like the NFL is a kid's game, because I mean, they went 15-2. They really went. They gave the Broncos that game, all right, because they essentially only lost 1 game all season. I mean, it's phenomenal what they're doing, bro. And I know it's a lot of people, including myself, at times I hate on them because they're so great. I'm hating on them even more than I hated the Patriots when they won all those years. But the Patriots, even in all that greatness, never did this. It's remarkable what they're doing. It's remarkable that they have the mainstay. That's the key. Did you hear what Patrick Mahomes said after they won back-to-back Super Bowls last year? He said, man, this is nothing. I want 3. I want 3 in a row. Who says that after you just won back-to-back Super Bowls? The confetti's falling. He's got his kids in his hands. He's got all these people around him, all the noise and everything. This guy says, man, this is nothing. I want 3 in a row. Who thinks like that? People like him. I mean, I couldn't appreciate, Hack, I'm just going to say that I couldn't appreciate the greatness in my locker room that I was surrounded by until my career was over. And, I mean, Rod Woodson, Damani Dawson, Jimmy Smith, Fred Taylor, Tony Baselli, Mark Britt, all those guys I played with. I couldn't appreciate how great they were until I actually retired and look back and say, man, I played with some phenomenal guys. This guy, Patrick Mahomes, people need to stop hating on him. You need to appreciate how great this man is, because you may not ever see anyone like him again.
I think it's well said. Absolutely. He's going for another Super Bowl. Philadelphia, Kansas City. We sometimes forget about that. We've been so caught up in the Jaguars and the Liam Cohen and coaching search and everything. Oh, by the way, there is a Super Bowl that's going to be played a week from Sunday. We'll be back next week to certainly break that down. You get Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime, and we're fortunate enough to have him every week here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, thank you, my friend. We'll talk again next week.
You got it, bro.
At 1010XL, we wear helmets and pads.
We hit, we win.
Get in the game every day.
And you do that in all things.
With 1010XL.
Mike Dempsey here. All right, we're almost a month into the new year. How's that resolution to drop your first 20 to 25 pounds going? Didn't happen? Yeah, well, that's probably because you didn't call Awaken 180 weight loss. I did, and in just 4 weeks, I dropped 23 pounds and was at my goal. But here's the crazy part. It didn't stop there. It was so easy. I kept going. Did it another week. Next thing I know, I'm down 27 pounds. That's right, 27. You know what's wild? I can still see my abs again. Not ripped. I don't have a six-pack, but I didn't even think I had those anymore before Awaken 180. It's amazing when you see the results. Feel the results. You just want to keep pushing forward. That's what makes Awaken 180 so different. It's not some medication quick fix where the weight comes off and comes back. It's real results that you can see and feel. Fast results and lasting results. Results that make you want to keep going. To reach a goal you never thought possible. Want the same for you? Then do it. Call the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss, 844-346-1800, or visit awaken180weightloss.com today.
Blue here for the blue. Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 12th through 16th. The Daytona 500 is sold out, but you can still win a 4-pack of tickets to all the other Speed Weeks races. What anniversary of the Great American Race does 2025 mark? Text the anniversary number to 641-1010. What anniversary of the Great American Race does 2025 mark? Text the answer to 641-1010 for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Speed Weeks races.
Hi, I'm Jared Simmons, Executive Director of Walk Off Charities. Thanks to the players for supporting our mission to provide every child the opportunity to learn and play baseball. It's 41 days until the Players' Championship.
The Electric Light Orchestra experience comes to the Jacksonville Center for Performing Arts Wednesday, February 5th as part of the FSCJ Artist Series. For a chance to win tickets, text ELO to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Hey, John, looking for the perfect family ride?
How about taking your family on a luxury ride with the all-new 2024 Cadillac Escalade?
That sounds amazing. If you're a loyal customer, you get $4,000 off. Or if you're new to Randy Marion, you can get a $3,000 Conquest discount.
And don't forget the 5% savings on retired courtesy transportation vehicles.
You can save over $10,000 on select 2024 Escalade.
Experience the luxury and comfort at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $899 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Kick off the new year with a new look for your home. It's the Renewal by Andersen New Year's sales event. For a limited time, save 20% on their energy-efficient windows and patio doors, designed to keep your home comfortable all year. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and 0% interest for 12 months. Offer expires January 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings in our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Hacker After Dark with you till 10 o'clock tonight. 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Certainly glad you are with us. Boy, some drama in college basketball tonight here in our area. Some good stuff tonight. Well, one good outcome, one bad outcome. Let's begin with the negative. Good grief. What a bad loss for JU. JU was up 19 at the half against Florida Gulf Coast. Now, keep in mind, this is a game in the Atlantic Sun where JU entered 7-1 in conference play. Florida Gulf Coast 6-2 in conference play. JU up 19 at the half, up 24 in the second half. Get outscored, I believe, 12-1, if my math is correct, in the last 2.5 minutes, and fall to Florida Gulf Coast tonight at Swisher Gym, 83-79. Tough loss for the Dolphins. Good basketball team, but that one will hurt. And then my alma mater, UNF, back and forth game with Stetson. They kind of blow the lead late in the final minute of regulation. Have a chance to win it with a free throw at the end of regulation. Do not have to go to overtime. Stetson takes a 1-point lead, 100-99 with 14 seconds to go. UNF finds a bucket with 3 seconds remaining. Stetson's half-court heave is off the iron, and UNF 101, Stetson 100 in overtime. So Atlantic Sun basketball, pretty good tonight, man. One good outcome locally, UNF over Stetson. One bad outcome locally, and JU blowing a 24-point second-half lead to fall to Florida Gulf Coast. And you hope that's not a game with a hangover effect. JU has been so good this year, but you lose a game like that, particularly at home with first place in the conference on the line, those can potentially linger for a little bit. What you don't want to happen is for that game to cost you 1 or 2 or 3 more down the road. So hopefully they can stew on it tonight, flush it tomorrow, and get ready for the remainder of their conference play. But a tough loss tonight for the JU Dolphins. We'll talk a little college hoops with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Florida State's 2025 football schedule was announced earlier this week as well. A little bit on Billy Napier and the Florida Gators, potentially bringing in a couple of new coaches. A lot to get into in the world of college athletics locally, and we'll do that with Brent Beard next on a Wednesday evening in Northeast Florida with Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. It's 1010XL. It's 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
Because the expressway doesn't mean the fast way.
Fasten your seatbelt.
The Frangie Show.
Don't look like no expressway to me.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Burton Cummings, the voice of a generation. Burton Cummings, 60th Anniversary Hits Tour. February 5th at Florida Theater.
These eyes
with special guest Jim Messina. Burton Cummings and his band. 60th Anniversary Hits Tour. Tickets on sale now at FloridaTheater.com.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com and take advantage of their 40% off New Year savings this month only, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security has a huge prize sweepstakes now through the big game. I'm talking a 75-inch loaded Samsung TV with 3D surround sound, a sound bar with wireless subwoofer, and installation is included. Stop by the new showroom, check out the setup, and drop your name in the box for your chance to win the $2,500 prize now through February 9th. Tyson Sound and Security now at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Nick in here with a message from Zero Res. Did you have people over for the holidays? Kids everywhere, dirt everywhere, all over the carpets, the rugs, the sofas, and chairs. Did the kitchen towel take a beating? Sounds like it's time to call my guys over at Zero Res. The Zero Res techs will get the house looking great again. Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holiday, give Zero Res a call. Right now, 25% off carpet cleaning, 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res. Spell it forwards. Zero Res. Spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, we're not at any shortage for news right now. Holy moly, with the week we had last week with Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach at the Jacksonville Jaguars. People may not remember this, or people are just now reading about this, that Liam Cohen had a couple of stints in the Southeastern Conference at the University of Kentucky. We'll certainly talk about that. The Gators have a couple of new coaches on staff. Gator basketball continues to roll, and a brand new, well-deserved contract extension for one of the head football coaches in the SEC. Mr. Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. Good to be on with you. A couple of quick things for folks. The
The ACC schedule reveal is going to be out this week, so folks might want to be aware of that. If you don't know, if you're an ACC fan and don't know what your team's schedule is going to be, well, you'll have it this week. And, Hank, tell me how many people have forgotten this. National Signing Day is next Wednesday, February the 5th.
Yeah, that used to be. I mean, when I was with Gridiron Now, that was my Super Bowl. I mean, that was what we worked all year for, and now it's just a complete and total afterthought.
Yeah, well, and having the early signing period in December, that's when most of these guys will sign. I mean, there will be some who will sign during that time, and they're still trying to figure out what to do with the signing periods, and they've got to make that a lot more logical than it is. So those dates are coming up, and look, brother, I've been with you on that. I remember doing multiple radio hits on National Signing Day years ago when it was that first Wednesday in February. So a lot's changed in college football, and that's one of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. All right, we're going to get to some college football news, but let's begin on the hardwood, Brent. Boy, the Gators had a tough loss to Missouri, and I said at that point, after losing and not playing particularly well, that, yeah, this sucks, but if they rattle off wins against Texas, South Carolina, and Georgia, and are 5-2 after 7 conference games, that you'll feel pretty good about things. And that's exactly what they've done. They absolutely destroy Texas and Georgia. They don't play very well against South Carolina. In fact, their only lead of the game was for the last 5 seconds, and they win up in Columbia.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden here, Florida is 18-2. 5-2 in the SEC, and they got a pretty decent break here until a game Saturday, a huge game up in Knoxville against a Tennessee team, Brent, that you know will be fired up to see the Gators.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. A Tennessee team that, frankly, should have beat Auburn at Auburn over the weekend. But beating Georgia by 30, I mean, look, even the Florida fans who don't care much about basketball, I'm sure, were able to appreciate that, and I'm sure they were able to appreciate Mike White and his mediocrity, the former Gator coach who is now at Georgia. Largest win over Georgia is his 2013 12th straight win. Wow. 51 points in the first half against Georgia, and the most in an SEC game since 2017. To your point, boy, the schedule ramps up. They don't play this week. They have a bye midweek. Then they play at Tennessee. Then they play Vanderbilt, who, even though it's a quad 2, is one of the more dangerous teams in the league right now.
Yeah, Vanderbilt recently has beat both Tennessee and Kentucky.
Absolutely, and really shooting up the ranks. And then, oh, by the way, they get to go to Auburn after that, and then they go to Mississippi State. So 3 of the next 4 are on the road. That is tough to say the least. You're talking about Missouri a few minutes ago. I've got the net rankings here, and Missouri is 24th. I mean, that's pretty good. If you're in the top 25 in the net, and Florida is 5, Auburn's 1, Tennessee's 4, Florida 5, Bama's 7, A&M's 12, Kentucky's 13, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Missouri in the top 25. That's startling, isn't it?
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly on Hacker After Dark. And I think the biggest thing about the SEC, Tennessee's 4-3 in the conference, and they're ranked in the top 10 in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we often say, it depends on who you lose to. And look, people are going to be predicting Tennessee at least to be a Sweet 16 team coming up at the end of the year.
They are. And, you know, Tennessee, after Florida just put it to them a couple of weeks ago, will be fired up as the Gators come into Thompson Bowling Arena. That's a noon tip on Saturday, an early game on Saturday between 2 of the best teams in the country, Florida and Tennessee. To the gridiron we go, Brent. Let's remain in Gainesville. A couple of new coaches. Coach names that people will recognize on the Gator staff.
Yeah, Vinny Searcy has been hired. He was at Jacksonville State for maybe, Hank, a cup of coffee, and then he took the job in Gainesville. Now he will fill one of the on-field assistant opening. Austin Armstrong leaves. We're not exactly sure what that is going to be yet, but I mean, Searcy, he played at Alabama. He was a fifth-round draft pick of the Saints, and he has coaching experience as of late. He was a grad assistant at Bama. He was on the New England Patriots staff with some different jobs. Actually was with Jed Fish in Washington for a while, and really his dad, Saul, is probably better known than Vinny is, but Vinny's a good coach. That's going to be interesting to see where that goes, frankly, and I think that was a good hire. And, oh, by the way, when Steve Spurrier Jr., Bubba, is joining as an analyst, we're not sure all what that's going to be. But, yeah, Gator fans got two pretty good coaches, didn't they, Hank?
They did. Certainly two coaches with name value. And I want to talk about another SEC coach that got a contract extension in one moment. But, Brent, I'm curious. There's a lot of rumblings out there, even here in Jacksonville. I don't think it's going to happen. I think more likely the offensive coordinator position with either the Texans or the Buccaneers. Surprised you at all that Chip Kelly is back in the news? Obviously was a former terrific head coach at Oregon, went to the NFL, did some okay things. Ultimately, it didn't work out. Back to college to UCLA. Then he left to be the offensive coordinator of Ohio State, just won a national championship. And now the name Chip Kelly circulating back in the NFL, potentially with OC openings with the Texans, the Buccaneers, and even rumored here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, it really is not that surprising. I think he's probably testing the waters to see, and I think he's probably got an itch for the NFL. He may have had enough of the other NIL transfer stuff that's going on. Look, people either love Chip or they don't. Chip, and you remember this well, a lot of people thought at some point he might be coming to Florida as the head coach. That did not work out. Certainly didn't work out at UCLA when he was there, but Chip Kelly's still a good offensive coordinator. And frankly, not only with Chip Kelly on that Ohio State staff, but the amazing thing too, Jim Knowles, their D coordinator, considered one of the best in the nation, and I'll be real brief about this, but he was rumored to be going to Oklahoma. Instead, he is going to Penn State. Now, this is coordinator money. This is coordinator, okay? Not head coach, coordinator, going to be making $3 million at Penn State as a coordinator. Now, you and I have been doing this a long, long time together, and I remember, I'm sure you do too, when coordinators made what, $250,000 a year, and the people were thinking that the university that hired them had robbed a bank. It's amazing the money they're making now as coordinators.
Yeah, it's where we are in today's day and age. Heck, in the NFL, Liam Cohen was offered reportedly $4.5 million to be a coordinator with the Buccaneers. He would have been the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. I want to get your thoughts on Liam Cohen in one moment as well on his way to Jacksonville. But we did mention, Brent, another SEC coach does get a contract extension. Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer has done a very good job in Columbia, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and he was rewarded justly this past week.
He will be paid $8.15 million with raises. Get this now, with raises of $100,000 annually. That's not bad either, is it, Hank? He's 29 and 22, took over in 21. They had a really good year last year, really had an argument to be in the playoffs. So he is rewarded with a new contract. And look, I remember you and I talking at the beginning of the year before the season of who was on the hot seat, and it was Sam Pittman of Arkansas, Billy Napier of Florida, and Shane Beamer of South Carolina. You remember that?
It's funny you bring that up because literally as I asked you that question, I remembered that. And I remember you saying that you did not believe they would fire him, but you thought he had to win. And you were right. He won, and because of that, he's rewarded with the new deal.
He's done a good job. He's always been a good recruiter. And now people probably remember in his last game, in the bowl game against Illinois, he and Brent Beard almost going WWE at midfield. You remember that, Hank?
I do. That was quite the scene. Yes, absolutely.
So, but look, to his credit, and he's got Lenore Sellers coming back next year. So there will be a lot of off-season excitement about South Carolina.
Brent, I want to ask you, Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars, does have some ties in the Southeastern Conference, 2 different stints at the University of Kentucky working under Mark Stoops. Your thoughts on Liam Cohen? Obviously, he did wonders with Baker Mayfield last year in Tampa. The process was an interesting one in getting him to Jacksonville, particularly asked the people down in Hillsborough County about that. But just overall, your impression of Liam Cohen and the job he will do here.
Yeah, I heard you talking about this the other night and interviewing some media folks from Tampa and the reaction from that. That's pretty much what probably a lot of people know about Liam Cohen. He was at Kentucky. He had 2 stints there, which is kind of unusual. He was at Kentucky, then he left and went to the Rams, and then he comes back to Kentucky shortly after that. One of the stints was much better than the other one, and I think a lot of that was probably beyond his fault because they really had a poor offensive line and a lot of questions at quarterback. I mean, he certainly is known for his offensive prowess and what he's done with different quarterbacks and different teams. I would think that his strong suit would be calling plays and developing folks, and he should be a boost with Trevor Lawrence. But again, this is the first real head coaching job that he's ever had, so that is always has a learning curve that goes along with it. But yes, if folks want to look that up, not 1 but 2 stints at Kentucky, and did a pretty good job there with what he had.
You talk about guys with SEC ties. Former Gator Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, to me, Brent, and I'm happy for Brian, that's a head scratcher, though, is it not?
It is. There's no doubt about that. And look, if you and do you want to deal with Jerry Jones every day too? So that, but yes. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I understand them needing to move on. I mean, they were about as mediocre as they could be. Dak Prescott, hopefully those two will gel and be okay. But yes, some of these NFL people make fun of the colleges for a hack, but truthfully, the NFL can make as many employment mistakes as anybody can.
They can. Final moments with Brent Beard. Brent, as we wrap up, give Florida State fans some news and notes as we say goodbye.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that. Obviously, a lot of the schedule is, again, as we mentioned in the beginning, is coming out, and folks haven't heard. Florida State, with a new stadium reconstruction done, will play Alabama and their opener on Saturday, August the 30th. They really should have probably played that game on Sunday, August the 31st, and that's when Notre Dame is at Miami, and the South Carolina we just talked about is playing Virginia Tech in Atlanta. Big commitment for Florida State for the current class offensive tackle Shiston Brown. He is from Warner Robins. Anybody who makes that trek up 75 understands Warner Robins. He's a really good basketball player. 6'7", 252. his arms, Hack, are 37.5 inches long. That's interesting, to say the least. So that's some good news for Florida State. I know some of the Miami media that we know of think Xavier Lucas could make a real difference. He is a transfer. Some controversy over that we unfortunately don't have time to get into, but he is in the hall as a cornerback. Some of the freshmen, Miami, looking good for what it's worth. Early this time, freshman tight end Brian Schott. Hayden Lowe is a freshman defensive end. Armando Blunt is a defensive lineman. Now, these are guys in off-season workouts who have caught some people's eye, and we wanted to mention their names and give our Miami and Florida State fans listening a little bit of love, too.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News, and we're lucky enough to have him every week here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, appreciate it, my friend. Next week, we'll have our annual Super Bowl preview, and you can explain to me again why Patrick Mahomes didn't win 4 Heisman trophies, as he might win his 4th Super Bowl next week.
Yeah.
What a transition from college to the pros, and who knows what will happen in the world of college athletics over the next 7 days. Thank you as always, pal.
My pleasure, bud. Take care.
Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. So we talked a little college hoops. Again, Florida back in the top 5 in the country for the 3rd week in a row. They don't play again until Saturday, when they will go to Knoxville to take on a Tennessee Volunteer team that is wounded, man. Tennessee, remember, wasn't that long ago, they were the last undefeated team in the country. They were number 1 in the land. And really, you could say that game against Florida kind of changed the momentum of their season. They are now 4-4 in the SEC. The Tennessee Volunteers, from number 1 in the country just a couple of short weeks ago to a 4-4 conference record. But you get the feeling that Tennessee will be ready for Florida when they head in there on Saturday in Knoxville at noon. You'll hear the game, of course, right here on 1010XL. We certainly spent some time on that. The Florida State football schedule was officially released yesterday. We already knew the teams. Now we know the dates. Look, it's a tough schedule, right? Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Virginia Tech, Florida, Pitt, just to name a few. It's a tough schedule. 2 Friday night games, which I'm not a big fan of either. I hate that the ACC does that, but they continue to do it. But coming off a 2-10 season, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mike Norvell as they kick things off in 2025 on Saturday, August 30th, as the Alabama Crimson Tide will come into Doak Campbell Stadium. So we spent some time on college athletics, but obviously for the most part, it was on the NFL, on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and all about Liam Cohen, the brand new head coach of the Jaguars. Of course, the Jaguars will... The fans, you guys will have an opportunity if you get tickets, I guess, online, register for tickets online to go kind of have a meet, not necessarily a meet and greet, but go watch Liam Cohen address the crowd down at the stadium tomorrow from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock for a fan event down at Everbank Stadium. Of course, Liam Cohen in the process of putting his coaching staff together. Jaguars also need a general manager. I mean, it's January the 29th. The Senior Bowl is in 72 hours, less than 72 hours. And then you have the Combine in about a month and free agency in about 6 weeks. So it's going to get here very, very quickly, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly the staff and the GM comes together to join Liam Cohen here in Jacksonville. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday evening here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here as well on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for your Jaguars. You hear him every day on Primetime. You also get him weekly here on HAD as we went over the Liam Cohen hire and got Leon's thoughts on that. And back in hour number 1, Adam Rank of the NFL Network. Adam is one of the NFL Network guys that kind of fights the good fight for the Jaguars, and we certainly appreciate Adam taking time out of his schedule to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL truck